Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers of all ages, it's the last round of Swiss here at the Planetary Qualifier here in Lubbock, Texas. Welcome back to my friend Josh Snyder, helping me on the commentary today, doing a bang-up job, by the way. I haven't said that yet, but
appreciate it.
Wonderful job as always, sir.
Appreciate
Thank you. Thanks for agreeing to work with me. Why don't we meet our players here going into the final round? Let's have a tab over here on the left-hand side. This is Winston. Winston is going to be our Yoda player in this match, a local boy here from Lubbock. Sitting across from him, his opponent on the right-hand side of your screen, that's going to be James. James is bringing Snoke to the table. We had actually seen this deck earlier. They've actually already started, so we should probably get right into things. We saw this deck earlier on the list and wanted to kind of bring it to the board, and, well, now we have.
Okay, so, yeah, very interesting. The new Snoke from Legends of the Force. So, a Snoke blue Force deck. We see Secretive Sage out early, so James able to get the Force early here in Game 1. Super Laser Technician on turn 2. So now James showing a potential to ramp here in Game 1. Phoenix Squadron A-Wing for Winston. So space versus ground currently.
Well, and Winston played a resupply. We missed it, but he's on 5 resources already here, whereas James is still on 4 until he does something with that SLT.
We are going to see the Force being used here. Townsend's Assassin, when played, -3/-3 to the Phoenix Squadron A-Wing. So cleaning up Winston's board, but at the moment, not seeing a way for James to ramp with the Super Laser Technician. Winston would, of course, have to put a unit in the ground arena that that Technician can attack into. But it is a good point. Early ramp for this Yoda deck. Winston playing the resupply. We've got another Phoenix Squadron A-Wing, so Winston kind of dodging the ground arena right now.
I'm good, thank you.
And it's another resupply for Winston. Going up to 6 resources. Yoda is going to deploy next round.
Spicy.
4 more damage, but my goodness, Yoda is going to come out very early here in this game. Now, if not before then, that will finally give James a way to get this Technician into his resource row. So James with the initiative, a quick 4 damage to base with Townsend's Assassin, 10 damage on Winston's base. A-Wing getting in. Phoenix Squadron A-Wing has been the unit to deal all 9 damage to James's base.
Interesting. Winston is just studiously avoiding going anywhere near this Super Laser Technician, which I find is hilarious.
Exactly,
I mean,
right.
it's not that uncommon to play. I still think it's hilarious. Oh, I forgot to advance the round marker. This is round 6.
Boop. Could deploy Yoda first. Could maybe play something else. He was looking at something from hand first, and
Bam.
it is going to be Luke Skywalker taking out Secretive Sage with that when played ability, -3/-3, taking one of the Force units off the board.
Well, now at least James has something to smash his Super Laser Tech into.
Yeah, James has to be excited to see that Super Laser Technician immediately attacking into Luke Skywalker, getting that extra resource. Ready resources, James. So James up to, I believe, 6 total. Is that right? Am I?
James is on 6 now, yep. And he hasn't spent anything this round.
Okay.
Hasn't spent anything this round,
right.
So he's got everything available here to him. And that reminds me, I need to run a quick standings update. Let me do that real fast.
Winston using the Yoda action ability. This is important. He draws 1 card because a unit has left play this phase. He draws a card and then he puts 1 back on top or the bottom of his deck. So he can kind of set up this when deployed ability on the Yoda leader. We are going to see Craving Power being attached to Townsend's Assassin, giving her a total of 6 power, defeating Luke Skywalker, but then Yoda deployed, home ones discarded, and that is plenty enough of a cost to defeat Townsend's Assassin. Board clear for James, but here comes Supreme Leader Snoke.
Yeah, Snoke comes out on 6, so that's a big notable thing for the round. And one of the nice things about Snoke is James does that here. Snoke able to trigger he can trigger his own game text onto himself, something that some of the experienced leaders like Obi-Wan out of the set cannot do.
Yeah, that is a really good point. You have that on attack ability. It says give an experience token to the unit with the most power among friendly villainy units. So Snoke immediately becoming a 5 power threat in the ground arena. James does have the initiative here, or did Winston claim and they just didn't move the token?
Not sure precisely. I apologize. I'm trying to get a little bit of production stuff done in the background to get our bottom ticker updated for the round.
Okay, we're and it appears they did not move the initiative token. Okay. So Winston swinging with Yoda first, trading here. He does get the restore too, back down to just 8 damage on base. So both leader units cleared back to the base zone. James going to play Power of the Dark Side, just cleaning up the space arena here. Phoenix Squadron A-Wing defeated. Winston still has plenty of resources to use. We are going to see Chirrut coming out. And James just claiming here, unable to make use of those 4 ready resources.
That feels terrible.
But both players, look at this. Winston just passing after that. So
they both
4
got a
ready
lot.
resources left for both players.
Yeah, both got a lot that they can't do with much there.
Very interesting indeed. James, of course, getting the initiative. Right now, 13 damage on James's base, just 8 damage on Winston's. Looks like James is getting ready for a big play here. We've seen this unit several times today. Maul coming out and will swing into Chirrut. And I do not believe the force was used. So should be 2 overwhelm damage.
There should have been. Yeah, he's still got his force token. Both players seem to have missed it. Let me pack that in. This is a win and in kind of game. So
right, it is. Yeah, this is absolutely win and in. So Luke Skywalker in response, that will give Maul -6/-6. So one way or the other, Maul does get defeated. And we do see Owen Lars being played as well for Winston. So Winston loading up the ground arena. He's showing 5 restore in the ground arena between Luke and Owen. James does have the initiative again, but starting yet another turn with no units in play.
He didn't use the force token. There we go. Okay, now it works.
There it is. Okay, so he did use the force.
Okay, so that's fine. I'm making sure. Nope. Okay, there we go.
Oh no, he did. Okay,
that's what I thought.
Yep.
Perfect. That's important because we haven't mentioned it yet. We kind of loosely alluded to it, but this is basically a win and in match for both these players. That's why we picked it. So both of these guys. Ooh, hello.
Oh, this is a strong play. Timely intervention into Reinforcement Walker. So timely intervention allows James to play a unit from hand, give it ambush. So Reinforcement Walker getting the when played effect and the on attack effect here. Taking out Owen Lars. So that is where the attack goes.
Okay, it's a Tyrannus. He's going to heal off of that. And what's the second one?
Like he's going to discard both, so healing 6 damage.
It's an Onyx tie
from his base. Back down to just 6 damage on.
I was going to comment that I was willing to bet that James doesn't have a ton of restore, and then he just proved me wrong. So don't listen to me, guys. I'm just the guy with the cameras. I'm not the guy at the table.
Timely intervention into Reinforcement Walker. What a solid play. Great way to heal quite a large chunk from base. Now we do see Village Protectors coming out, and a Rivals Fall defeating Reinforcement Walker, and Luke is still left in the ground arena. 6 damage, that damage that James healed right back onto his base. And Winston restoring down to 7 damage on his base in the process.
I'm telling you right now, Rivals Fall is now the official mascot card of all of West Texas. Like, everybody out here seems to have that in their decks. It's crazy.
It is a very real possibility that Rivals Fall is the most played card on stream today.
I think it is. I'd have to go back and check, but I'd be willing to run that
That'll
counter.
Be close if it isn't.
I was going to say, I think we said at least 8 copies, which for that card is unusual.
So James with the initiative.
Winston's halfway home. Winston's halfway home here. 14 damage on.
Yeah, he is. Halfway home, showing another 6 damage in the ground arena with Luke.
But what did James pass? What is happening?
It looks like he's just passing here.
What is happening? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What?
And a home 1 coming out. This is huge. Home 1 is going to go and fish out. James looks like an A-wing.
James leans back from the table like, that is not the look of a happy man. He has 10 resources and nothing to play? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What just happened?
What in the world was in his hand?
I have no idea. How could you have
not one play?
Yeah, how could you have nothing? Take the entire 10 resource round off? That's crazy to me.
You know, I think unless he's got a super laser blast here, this game looking like it is out of control for James.
Okay. Well, he's got 11 now. I mean, okay, in Snoke we could be looking at Devastator, Annihilator. Like, he could have big plays, but it feels like he couldn't have played Annihilator last turn. He could have played Devastator. Like, if he had that, you would have think he would have done that last round.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, hello.
Okay, now this is a start. So timely intervention into the new Darth Vader. A shield token given to home 1. And then Darth Vader can also get a shield token, and then ambush, trading shield tokens into the Village Protector. The on-attack ability defeats an enemy unit with a shield token, so home 1 defeated. But here comes 6 damage with Luke Skywalker. Yeah. The A-Wing is showing fatal. James has to have a response with these 4 ready resources.
And he doesn't.
He does not. Scooping it up. Okay.
Wow.
Winston taking it. But yeah, I mean, I don't see any route to victory when you don't have a play with 10 resources.
Yeah, like what is it I mean, you know, if you'd had the Vader timely combo, you have to believe he would have played it, right? I mean, a round earlier. Like, why would you have waited?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, crazy, interesting. All right, well, let's see. Let me get this. Let's see. So Winston's got game 1. Let's reset the game, and then let's come back to here so these guys can sideboard in peace without us looking over their shoulders. One last little bit of housekeeping for me as we hit into the last round of Swiss. I got a few more, my last 3 people to shout out for my Patreon support, guys. I do run a Patreon to kind of help, bring in a little bit of help to cover events of this nature. And I've got some folks to shout out. That's Russ Delmar, Jeff, and Mark Frigo have all supported me in the past or current supporters. So big shout out to you guys. Thanks for the help. My Patreons were a big help in letting me develop the hand cam technology over the summer, get that deployed. Huge shout out to the guys at McClunky Gaming, by the way. Tim and Claire, fabulous people. And when I met Tim in Minneapolis, he had brought along the stuff he was using for hand cams. And I literally looked at him as, I'm stealing this. Send me a link to how you do this. Like, send me a link to what you're using for this. And he did. He just here, this is what I bought. And I looked at it and was like, oh, yeah, I see how this works now. And, it works great when I have it set up. Unfortunately, not today. But hopefully we'll get that set up for the next round of events over the winter.
Yeah, you have to love the hand cams. When Tim and Claire first told me we were going to have hand cams for the regional in Minneapolis, Tower and I were both very excited. And it was really cool just to be able to, have that pulled up at different key moments in the match and see what the players were working with. It was always kind of interesting, too, at the beginning of the match, seeing their resource decisions.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I think the hand cams definitely add another layer of excitement
Yeah.
and, you know, a real look into the thought process.
Yeah. I love having it for resource decisions, being able to look over players' shoulder and go, why is he resourcing that versus that? Like I love kind of trying to climb into their heads and figure that sort of stuff out. There's a part of me that still laments a little bit of losing the surprise play of he does have the big bomb or the card he needs or whatever.
Right.
You know, when you know going into it, it's like, well, he's probably just going to play this, you know. And sometimes that always makes me a little sad. But I think the value of having it trumps the value of not having it, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's definitely fun to have in certain situations. Both players getting ready for game 2, and both players a pretty quick mulligan.
Yeah. Winston's like, let me look at this hand. Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, this is such an important match for both of these players.
Yeah, for sure.
Winner should be guaranteed a spot in the top 8. The loser, well, unfortunately not.
Yeah, definitely not guaranteed.
This
yeah,
is an important game here.
Yeah, 100%. The loser of this match will absolutely get knocked down to the point where they will not qualify. I think mathematically, there's no way that works out. The 6 guys ahead of them on the this is our currently ranked 7th and 8th players, guys. So the 6 people ahead of them all took intentional draws for the round. So this is the one match that is being played that impacts the top 8 cut.
Yeah. So one of these players will make it, one will not, and then one on the outside looking in coming into this round will find their spot in the top cut. So here we go. Game 2 is underway. It's Secretive Sage for James. It's Phoenix Squadron A-Wing. We have done a bit of an audible here. We've got ground up top, space on the bottom of your screen this time. Always love it when the players throw a curveball on us with the arenas.
I used to, when I used the two-player mat that I used to use for this, literally has them marked: ground arena, space arena. And what was always hilarious to me was how many players would just do whatever they wanted. Right? It was like, we're going to play over here this time. But you know, moving to these kind of more generic mats, it's nicer because, just like you point out, the players can decide for themselves. Like, where do you want to be? It doesn't matter, you know. And then I just had to change the buttons around on the Stream Deck to be able to focus, you know, top or bottom, basically.
So both players just trading some damage on the second turn. And I believe that James did not have a play on turn 2. We did see Winston resupply going up to 5 resources, but James did not. So yet again, that's a tough turn 2 for James.
What's he sitting on?
Because at least you want to see a resupply there to get closer to your leader being deployed as well.
One of those is the new toe drop Kylo Ren, but he must have just drawn that. I have to believe he would have played it otherwise.
So here comes Darth Tyrannus, another shielded token, and a quick vanquish from Winston, defeating Darth Tyrannus.
He's like, well, we're not going to tolerate those shenanigans, sir.
James just claiming Yoda action ability. Used Winston drawing a card here. We'll put one back on top or the bottom. We'll see where he goes with it. And it is going to be a card shipped to the bottom. Moving on to the next turn. 6 damage on James's base, 4 on Winston's base. But again, keep in mind, Winston 1 resource ahead. And at this point, we'll be deploying Yoda the same turn that Snoke will be deployed, unless we see some kind of ramp from either player this turn.
Yeah, we haven't seen James play any kind of resupply. We know he's got super laser techs. We've seen those. We haven't seen a resupply that would allow him to get Snoke onto the board this turn. Instead, he's got 5 for a craving power.
At least answers the Phoenix Squadron A-Wing.
Yeah, but it feels like a little bit kind of a suboptimal play. I mean, a 4/4 shield is not bad. He's going to get some value out of that, but it clears the A-Wing, which is a lane he's not in right now. That does feel nice.
The one thing that James has not been able to do much of in this match so far is take advantage of Snoke's action ability.
No, he hasn't.
You know, being able to buff up his villainy units with experience tokens. He hasn't been able to do that. Of course, Secretive Sage, not a villainy unit. So we are going to see Obi-Wan Kenobi coming out. And a Yaddle for Winston.
At least now they're all playing in the same arena, so we'll see some interaction between these two as we go into the deploy round for both leaders. I've got the initiative in the wrong place. James retains the initiative. So his initiative's up, his force token's available. He's got all 6 resources. Let's see what he does. What's the play?
So right now, Obi-Wan Kenobi does not have Sentinel. Winston has to play another force unit for Obi-Wan to get Sentinel. So James could go and take out that Yaddle right away if he wanted to.
That'd be a really good
Sage
play.
does have 4 power.
He's going to go to base.
All right, just being aggressive. So that should be 12 damage on Winston's base.
I think I would have taken out the Yaddle as well. We'll see if that comes back to bite him.
The problem with Yaddle here is, you know, you're going to get the restore 1, right? We're dealing 2, we're restoring 1, but Obi-Wan Kenobi could also get a restore here.
Obi could get a restore, and when he flips Yoda out, Yoda could get a restore. Now, actually, now that I think about it, the reason James probably didn't do that is because if you kill Yaddle, you're feeding Yoda. Yoda's then going to trigger his ability and 100% set up the shenanigans of I'm going to murder something when I deploy and know exactly what's on top of my deck.
Yeah, no, that is a good point. Trying to stop the setup. Snoke is deployed. Obi-Wan Kenobi going into James's base, 11 on.
Now, if Snoke swings in here, he has to buff himself. It's the only valid target he has. It's the only villain unit on the board. So that's going to be a 5-point hit. It looks like he's going to knock out Obi-Wan. That is going to set up the Yoda shenanigans, like so.
Yep. Yoda action ability. Winston quickly putting a card back on top. And this will be a pretty easy hit here if James doesn't play another unit, the secretive Sage. You only need to find a 3-cost or higher on top with that when deployed ability to defeat the secretive Sage.
Yeah. Well, and it's going to be a multifold problem for James, right? He doesn't know this yet. We've seen it in Winston's hand. Winston is sitting on a Luke, right? So you're going to get a Luke. Yep. Which is going to clear Snoke.
It's a massive play. -6, -6-2. James's leader unit. Big setback for James. Can James repopulate this board with those 6 resources? Because Secretive Sage very likely about to be defeated with that when deployed trigger.
Yep. And the amount of restore that James is going to be staring down in a minute is going to be really uncomfortable. All right, we're going to spend 6. What do we got? Oh, Rivals Fall.
Another Rivals Fall. Absolutely. Couldn't be any other card for 6.
Yeah. I think he was saving it to get rid of Yoda and then realized, no, this is a bigger problem. I got to clean this problem out now.
Right. Yeah. Well, Yoda is deployed, discarding the resupply carrier off the top of his deck. Winston defeating the secretive Sage. James's board has been wiped. Yoda getting in for 4, restoring more damage from his base.
This match is definitely not going the way that I think James had hoped. You know, he gets units out, but these Yoda green decks always seem to have an answer, whether it's a Luke or an Anakin or a Rivals Fall or whatnot, and it's got to be frustrating.
Totally agree with you. And look at this. Chirrut comes out. Force being used with the 8-cost Yoda. 5 damage healed from Winston's base. 6 damage to Chirrut. And once again, James left with no units on the board and no way to slow down these Jedi units in the ground arena.
This is just adding insult to injury now.
Yeah, I believe James just claims another 6 damage coming through. 21 damage on James's base. He is staring at Fatal in the ground arena. Can he find some sort of answer If he's ever needed a super laser blast, it's
Now,
now.
now would be the time for it. That's a good point. That's a good point. This is one of those units. They spoiled that new Krennic leader recently, just like yesterday, right? And he's like a 9-10 or an 8-9 ground sentinel or something, and this would be a great opportunity for that card. But unfortunately, that's not where we are. We're ambushing in for something for 6, though. Okay.
Here is the new Darth Vader. So Darth Vader will give out some shield tokens. Let's see where the shield tokens go. Shield token given to the 8-cost Yoda, ambushing and defeating Yaddle on attack trigger, defeating the 8-cost Yoda unit. So it does save quite a bit of damage here. Yoda leader unit getting in for 4 damage. So that's 25 damage on James's base, and now James still has to find an answer for Yoda. One more swing. And it would be game over. He has to claim, and we're about to see a lot more units, I'm afraid, come down into play for Winston.
Yeah, I think this is about to get even uglier than you think. I mean, there's the Obi-Wan, the blue leader, and now you're looking at lethal about 3 different ways in both lanes.
Yeah, once again, I think the only real way to stop this with one action would be super laser blast. You need to answer all of these units, right? Any one of these units.
Literally anywhere. Like a super laser blast or a nebula ignition is probably the only thing that saves
nebula
him.
As well.
That's those are the only 2 cards I think that give him an out here. And all it does, again, and I made this analogy earlier, it's just buying you time. How do you recover from it? You just spent every resource you had to clear the board, and your opponent has cards in hand and a mountain of resources. He's just going to put stuff back out again, and you're 3 HP from death. I don't see a way back here.
James was able to be pretty aggressive early in the game, but once Winston was able to get to the deploy turn, get Yoda out, clean up the board, he completely turned around this game, healing every bit of damage on his base in the process.
Yeah. The Yoda decks, the Yoda decks in this field today are just really, really strong decks.
Absolutely. Second Yoda green force deck we have seen on stream, both of them, or at least a win earlier, and Winston so close to securing a 2-0 victory and finding a spot in the top 8. There's the handshake. Winston with Yoda taking down James and Snoke 2-0, moving to 4-1-1, and that should lock Winston a spot in the top cut. Well played to Winston with Yoda.
Yep, absolutely a done deal there. And again, it feels like it's this partly is the amount of restore, the amount of unit removal these Yoda decks bring. You can present a threat, and they have generally 3 to 4 different good options available to them to clear it, depending on the stage of the game and where you're at any given time. So. Whew, these are going to be. Wow. I'll tell you what, Josh. As we've got that.